Hello, all of my DOC650 students. Thanks for joining me on this quick video. I wanted to show you some resources and give you some guidance on chapter 1 of your DSP. I'm so excited you're here because this is actually the start of your doctoral research. And so this time is so critical to get started. So I'm going to give you some tips and things to keep in mind as you go forward. What's amazing about this program is that you start building your doctoral study project actually now. So by the time you get to DOC700, you would already have 3 chapters done, just 2 chapters left to finish. So I want to give you some tips and tricks and tools to help you make the most of this time. So when you get to DOC700, it's going to be so much easier for you. Okay, so you can see I'm on the home page. I want to show you where to find these resources. So you go click here, My Resources, and you go to Doctoral Resource Center, which will take you here. There are several doctoral programs, so we want to go to the College of Business where you're at. And then they also give you the choice of choosing the PhD or the Doctor of Business Administration. So that's what we're going to choose. And it's going to take you here. Now, this is the program information. So I suggest making this one of your favorites on your screen. That would be very helpful. I want to take a look at this right here where it says doctoral study project. I'm going to do this with you. And you'll notice here the DSP chapters content. Chapter 1, Introduction to the Doctoral Study. The formal problem statement, what is it? The background of the organization, why? Conceptual and theoretical framework, what? And the methodological approach and justification, how. Notice it says a draft of chapter 1 of the study is due by the end of DOC650, which you're enrolled in. Students should identify the organization and type of business problem and process that will serve the focus of the study. So I noticed that in the SLP1, there was a lot of focus on research, on case study research. And keep in mind that case study research is different than doctoral research. It can be hard to conceptualize because the case study research you've been doing since your associate's, bachelor's, master's degree. Think of doctoral study as you're the top of the mountain. You are the expert in this field, and you are the one that people are going to be quoting from. Your research is going to be used in other students' papers in the master's, bachelor's level. That's the way to think about it. So if you're at the top of the hill, while we do rely on other references, we are actually creating information. We are creating basically the case study. So our first job is to identify what that is. Okay, so I'm going to get back to that in a second. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a tour of this LibGuide, and we're going to take a look at the forms and templates. And notice a couple of things here. There's a DBA handbook. If you haven't had the chance to read through this, I highly suggest it. When I finished my doctoral study, I always use this as a reference. I always went back to this when I had to start writing my chapters because it gives me a good idea of the path that it should be on, especially if I veered off. And you're going to veer off a lot because you're the king of the mountain or the queen of the mountain. And so there's no path to follow. You have to create your own path. Sometimes you can get lost. It's totally understandable, but we need a way to find your way back. And so these resources help you do that. Number two is this DBA DSP template, which I'm going to show you in just 1 second. But what's also important here is on the bottom right here, this letter of intent. So this letter of intent is basically goes to the organization that you're choosing to do your study on. And that's what applied research is. It is on a specific organization. For example, if you work for the Air Force, great, but you have to do your study on a section of that organization. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a business problem within the organization. I can't say I want to do an ethical evaluation of Wells Fargo and their practices with their customers. Why can't I do it? Because this is an applied research. If I'm researching why Wells Fargo did that problem, that's not applied research, that's just research. But a better idea would be if I had, let's say, a plumbing company locally that's having trouble keeping their employees. They're having high employee turnover. As researchers, we go into an organization like that and we try to find out why this is occurring. Why is this organizational behavior occurring? That's what our goal is. So this letter of intent is signed by the organization you're going to work with. I suggest doing something small, a smaller organization. Otherwise, you'll be overwhelmed by data, and that's not what we want. We want to be able to have data that we can really get into, and we have the time to get into. We don't want to have a 5-year doctoral study. We want to have something that we can collect data pretty quickly and is able to be analyzed. Second of all, you can choose an organization you work with. Now, there are a lot of conflicts of interest because if you publish this information, you're basically publishing a problem your organization has, and it doesn't always go over very well. So you can keep it as anonymous as possible, but you have issues like that. So keep that in mind. We can talk about that at the end of the video as well. Let's go into the DBA DSP template, which I have right here. All right. So remember, at the end of this class, you're going to write out your chapter 1. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, we're going to use this exact template and we're going to go to the table of contents, which is right here. Okay, so chapter 1 involves all of these different headings. Okay, so what's really nice about this template is it gives you an information of what you need to include. Now, I know it wasn't clear in the SLP assignment. However, the SLP is developing your introduction and your background and the statement of the problem for this assignment. So for those of you that weren't able to do this effectively, I will give you another opportunity to use this template in order to develop your SLP1, or I think it's SLP2, I apologize. Okay. So additional resources I just want to go through here, okay? For those of you that would like more information on developing research questions, here we go. There are some videos here. They're about 45 minutes to an hour, but they're very, very informative. Different things that you can talk about, writing strategies, just different ideas here. These videos are very, very, very helpful. So as I mentioned, you can keep this bookmarked so you can always come back to it. Another thing I will be doing is I will be releasing a schedule for next week and the next 2 weeks. So take a look at the schedule, and that way we can have some one-on-one time to discuss which organization you'd like to pursue and some of the research questions that are appropriate for doctoral research. So I'm going to publish that and put that in the course news as well this week. So, of course, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I hope this video was helpful. Have a great day.